All right, let's talk about something that I think lives inside all of us, this weird, kind of fascinating paradox of self-sabotage. Have you ever done this? You set a big goal, right? I'm going to eat healthier, or I'm going to spend way less time scrolling social media. You are so fired up. And then, what happens? You do the exact opposite? It's like, what is even going on there?
It's like there's this epic battle happening inside your head between two versions of you. You've got your future self, the one who's all disciplined and has these amazing long-term plans. But then there's present self, and, well, present self just wants to click on one more video, right now. We're going to dig into why present self seems to win almost every time, and trust me, the reason is so much weirder than you'd expect.
So to really get to the bottom of this, we're going to look at some incredible data that came from a real-world experiment. It's all centered around this productivity app called Habit Lab.
Okay, so what is Habit Lab? It's basically a browser extension that people install to, help them fight off all those online distractions. It does things like flash a timer at you or hide your social media feed. It can even just shut a tab down if you've been on it too long. The whole point is just to help you stick to your guns.
And here's the thing. When people first download it, they are all in. They're full of these amazing intentions. I mean, look at this. Over 90% of users choose to get help right out of the gate. They are literally asking the system to step in. They are so ready to make a change.
But then, well, then this happens. Just look at this visual. It's pretty wild. Each one of these horizontal lines, that's a person. And time is moving from left to right. See the bright colors? That's when they're using the app's help. But just watch. See that dark purple creeping in? That color means no help, thanks. It slowly takes over everything. It's like watching motivation visually drain away in real time.
And it all leads to this number. 73%. Think about that. By the time a user made their 200th choice in the app, nearly 3/4 of them were actively choosing to get no help at all. I mean, they didn't uninstall the app. They just turned off all the features that actually made it do its job.
Okay, so the story seems pretty simple, right? People lose motivation. It's a bit of a bummer, but it makes sense. Except, that's not the whole story. Not even close. This is where things take a really strange turn and show us something, frankly, profound about how our brains are wired. So the researchers behind this study saw this trend, and they were like, okay, something's going on here. So they decided to dig a little deeper. They introduced one tiny new choice, and it created this bizarre little feedback loop.
Here's what they did. They added a second question. So after you made your choice for right now, let's say you picked no help, the app would then ask you, all right, got it. So when should we bother you about this again? Your very next visit? In an hour? Maybe a day from now? A whole week?
And the results they got are, honestly, they're just baffling. Look at this chart. That first bar is huge. By far, the most popular combination of choices was, give me no help right now, but ask me again on my very next visit. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. It makes absolutely zero logical sense. That's like telling your friend, nah, I don't want to go to the gym today, but do me a favor and ask me again in 5 minutes, right? If you really didn't want the help, you'd say, ask me in a week or never ask me again. So what on earth is going on here?
Well, the answer, it turns out, has nothing to do with being lazy or having weak willpower. It's all about something much, much deeper. It's about our identity. There's this really cool concept in psychology called identity-based motivation. And the core idea is actually pretty simple. It's that we are all powerfully driven to make choices that line up with our self-image. It feels right when our actions match who we think we are or maybe who we want to be.
So let's bring this back to our goals. When things get tough, when you feel that friction, that pull to just give in to a distraction, your brain has to figure out what that feeling of hard actually means. And that single interpretation, it changes everything.
Your brain comes to this fork in the road, and it can go one of two ways. Path 1 is seeing it as impossibility. The little voice that says, ugh, this is too hard. This isn't for people like me. I should just quit. But path 2 is seeing it as importance. That's the voice that says, you know what? This is hard because it's valuable. And I'm the kind of person who does hard, valuable things.
And here's the kicker. Which path your brain takes is not random at all. It's all about which identity you are trying to protect in that exact moment. And that, right there, is the key that unlocks this whole mystery. Once you understand this framework, you look back at that Habit Lab data, and suddenly it all makes sense. What looked completely irrational is actually, well, it's a brilliant little mental strategy. You see, that Ask Me Later loop, it's not a bug in our mental software, it's a feature. It's this incredibly clever trick our minds use to solve a really deep internal conflict.
Here's the play-by-play. Okay, step 1. Our present self gets exactly what it wants. It wants to watch videos without any annoying interruptions, so it hits no intervention. Easy. But, that creates a problem. That action clashes with our identity as a person who is trying to improve. So boom, step 2. Our future self swoops in to save the day by choosing Ask Next Visit. That one little click totally preserves our self-image.
The researchers themselves put it perfectly. They said that by keeping that option open for the future, people can reassure themselves that they haven't actually given up. You know? They can still tell themselves, I'm still in the game. I am still the kind of person who's working on this.
So, what we're really looking at is the perfect psychological loophole. It's genius, really. Our brain figures out a way to get the short-term win, the pleasure of just slacking off, while at the very same time we get to keep our identity as a disciplined, goal-oriented person. It's literally having your cake and eating it too, while still feeling like you're on a diet.
And this all leads to, I think, a really powerful takeaway for all of us. You know that feeling of struggle, that friction you feel when you're trying to work towards a big goal? We almost always see that as a sign that we're failing. But what if this research is telling us to see it as the exact opposite? What if that feeling is actually a signal from your brain that this goal is deeply connected to your identity, that the friction itself is proof of how much it's worth to you?
So here's a final thought. The next time you're trying to stick to a plan and you feel that pull, that struggle, what if it's not a sign of weakness at all? What if it's actually a reminder? A little nudge from your brain telling you that you've picked a goal that is so important, so tied to the person you want to become, that it is absolutely 100% worth the fight.